Okay, so you know how sometimes just a tiny little snippet can like totally spark a huge question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like a single sentence can just open up a whole world of what ifs.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Digital arrest.
Digital arrest.
Right. It's not something you hear every day. And we're going to try to unpack that. Like, what does that even mean? And that phrase itself, digital arrest. It's not something you hear in everyday conversation. It's like, it makes you stop and think about how much of our lives are online now.
Absolutely. And how those lines between our physical world and our digital world are blurring.
Exactly. And that blurring is where things get really interesting. Because if we're talking about digital arrest, what does that actually look like?
Right. Is it like, are we talking like your devices get shut down? Are you blocked from the internet?
Yeah, or is it more like some kind of surveillance? Like suddenly all your online activity is being monitored. I mean, it's a whole new frontier for how authority might be exercised.
Absolutely.
It just raises so many questions about like rights and, what kind of legal framework even exists for something like this. If you can be digitally arrested, what protections do you have?
Yeah.
What due process is involved?
Exactly. I mean, this little snippet, it's a microcosm of this much bigger conversation about digital rights and freedoms. Like, where does our autonomy begin and end online?
Right. And you can practically feel the tension in that silence we don't hear. Because presumably the person being told they're under digital arrest probably has some thoughts on that.
Well, I imagine so. Maybe questions, objections, who knows? Yeah. But the fact that we only get this one side of the exchange, it kind of underscores that power imbalance.
Yeah, it's like a glimpse into a potential future where control and limitations could look very different. Yeah, and that brings us to the big takeaway here.
Okay.
How intertwined our physical and digital lives are becoming, and the potential consequences of that.
Couldn't agree more. It's like a wake-up call in a way. Like, hey, we need to start thinking about these things now. Because the line between the real world and the digital world, it's not so clear anymore.
Exactly. And this idea of a digital arrest, it forces us to confront some really uncomfortable questions about what that future might look like. What will law enforcement look like in an increasingly digital world?
Yeah, and how will our rights and freedoms adapt to these new landscapes?
So much to think about. So much to think about. So as you go about your day, think about this. As we become even more connected about it, what safeguards do we need to put in place to make sure that our fundamental rights are protected?
It's a question worth asking for sure.
Absolutely. All right, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.